today I am doing part 2 of 2026 book releases I am excited for. So there are a few books coming up later this year, some sooner than others, that I'll just tell you about. I'll tell you the book, information about the book, who the book was written by, and the date they come out. The first book is one that I recently heard about from Renee at Beyond Books talking about upcoming book releases. I had not heard of this book before, but it sounded really interesting, so I added it to my TBR, and that is We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune. From my understanding, this is an adult novel. I believe it's less than 200 pages, so it doesn't seem to be very long, which I like because I think that especially to help get people into reading who aren't really into reading or who don't feel like reading super long books, I would like to see more books that are around that length. I don't mind reading longer books, but it does feel like a lot of adult books are always 400 pages at minimum. Of course, there are shorter ones, but I would like to see more books that are shorter like that. But I believe this is called a novel and not a novella. I guess it's long enough to be considered a novel. I have never read anything by TJ Klune before, but I am interested in his book, The Bones Beneath My Skin. That's another book I heard about on BookTube, and it is on my TBR. Maybe I'll get to this book sooner, though. I'm sure the library will probably have it, so I'll probably check it out then. I'll probably have more of an incentive to read this sooner rather than later because it's not very long. So I will read to you from the author's website what it says about We Burned So Bright. So about this book, it says, a heart-wrenching standalone novel by #1 New York Times bestselling author TJ Klune, We Burned So Bright follows an older queer couple on an end-of-the-world road trip. The road stretched out before them, no other cars, just the headlights on the blacktop. Above, the cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky. Husbands Don and Rodney have lived a good long life. Together they've experienced the highest highs of love and family, and lows so low that they felt like the end of the world. Now the world is ending for real. A wandering black hole is coming for Earth, and in a month everything and everyone they've ever known will be gone. Suddenly, after 40 years together, Don and Rodney are out of time. They're in a race against the clock to make it from Maine to Washington State to take care of some unfinished business before it's all over. On the road, they meet those who refuse to believe death is coming and those who rush to meet it. But there are also people living their final days as best as they know how. Impromptu weddings, bright burning bonfires, shared meals, new friends. And as the black hole draws near among ball lightning and under a cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky, Don and Rodney will look back on their lives and ask if their best was good enough. Is it enough to burn bright if nothing comes from the ashes? So I think that it sounds like a very interesting concept, and I think a lot of people will probably like this, so I'm definitely interested in checking that out sometime after its release. That is going to be released on April 28th, so each of these books, like I always do in these videos, I talk about in release order. The second book is The Music of Us by Emerald Alexandria. That book is going to be released on June 2nd. The description on Amazon says, a fun and flirty contemporary YA novel between a cat cafe barista and a boy band pop star that hits all the right notes. The Music of Us is a laugh-out-loud Friends to More romance perfect for the fans of Casey West, Beth Reekles, and Lynn Painter. I have not read any of those authors, but I do have 1 or 2 books by Casey West on my TBR, so I haven't actually read anything from her, but from what I've heard, it seems like she will maybe become one of those types of authors I really like. We will have to see. If life came with a playlist, Lucy's current era would be Stressed Girl Summer. While her friends are out enjoying the last summer before college, Lucy has her hands full managing her mom's quirky cat cafe. But with the fancy new coffee shop across the street, how will she attract enough customers to adopt the cats, or even pay the rent? In a desperate moment, Lucy emails her ex-best friend and first crush, Jake Moody, who's now the resident bad boy in the massively popular boy band The Usual Suspects. Lucy hasn't spoken to him in years, not since he kissed her and left for auditions without a backward glance, which she's totally not holding a grudge about, thanks for asking. To her surprise, Jake is all in on hosting a livestream performance to raise support for the cafe and salvage his image after his most recent scandal. As Jake and Lucy work together to corral his bandmates and plan the livestream, she finds her old feelings resurfacing despite her firm intentions to keep her distance. Is it possible the old Jake she knew is still hiding under his new rebellious image? So I think that sounds interesting with the music aspect and the cats. Those sound like things I would like. I definitely like to read more books like that. And a pretty interesting thing about this book is that I heard about it from social media posts from the publisher called Blink Young Adult, well, Blink YA. And I guess their thing is basically clean young adult fiction. So you don't gotta worry that this romance, for example, will have anything super inappropriate. So I'll try to find the publisher's website and read how they've described themselves. So their website says, discover Blink YA, a clean, teen-focused imprint readers are looking for. No spice, graphic scenes, excessive language, or need for content warnings. Just wholesome, engaging stories perfect for anyone 13 and up. So that definitely may appeal to some people, so I am putting that out there. And then they've got a list of some of their titles. Some of those content things I don't mind, other things I'm more picky about, but I do think it's nice going into a book knowing what to expect when it comes to that. So I think that book will be interesting. The next book I'm anticipating also comes out on June 2nd. Oftentimes when I do these videos, there are multiple books that come out on the same day, and that is Don't Call It Art by Austin Kleon. Now, I have read 3 of his previous books, Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going, which are basically these little square-shaped books with ideas and advice for creative people. I read all the previous ones and thought they were pretty good, so I'm open to trying out this one as well, probably just from the library, as that's how I checked out the others. Could be useful for some people. As for what specifically Don't Call It Art is about, it has a little subtitle on the book that says 10 Ways to Create Like a Kid Again. This is directly from his website. It says, "My next book is Don't Call It Art, 10 Ways to Create Like a Kid Again. It was inspired by my time spent as a studio assistant to my 2 sons when they were really little and the lessons I learned from them about loving and caring for yourself as a creative person. The book is designed to put you back in touch with that wild and fearless 4-year-old kid that still lives inside you and wants to come out and play." The 4th book is Hollywood Ending by John Green. This is John Green's first novel in 9 years. He's more recently put out a couple of nonfiction books, but now he's back to writing fiction. I had read some of his novels back in the day. I read Turtles All the Way Down, An Abundance of Catherines, Let It Snow, and Looking for Alaska. I haven't read all of them. I do still want to read The Fault in Our Stars and maybe Will Grayson. But anyway, those were definitely some of the books I read as a teenager when I was getting back into reading and reading some of the really popular young adult authors. When I heard about this new book coming out, I was excited, and I think I would like to read this. This is his first adult novel, so it may be a little different, but it's been a while since I read anything from John Green, but I enjoyed what I read from him before, so it's possible I'll enjoy this. It's possible it'll be profound in a way, probably. This book is going to be released on September 22nd. So reading from what looks like John Green's blog, it says Hollywood Ending follows the rise of young actors Kai, 20, and Juniper, 22. Being cast in the buzzy biopic Andy Warhol Never Gets Old is the opportunity they've both been waiting for. They're on the verge of breaking out and maybe even falling in love. Soon the movie is blowing up, and so are their lives in exciting but also terrifying ways, forcing them to confront the private cost of a public life. In his long-awaited return to fiction, Green artfully blends a behind-the-scenes Hollywood love story with an unflinching examination of celebrity and the insatiable attention economy. Told through dual points of view, the novel follows Kai and Juniper from the first days on location to the movie's premiere, brilliantly juxtaposing their story with the on-screen study of Warhol's life at the dawn of celebrity culture. So I think that sounds interesting, especially the stuff about being a celebrity and just that perspective. I think I will enjoy reading that. The 5th and final book I want to mention today is the newest Diary of a Wimpy Kid book that is going to be released on October 20th, and that is called Fight or Flight by Jeff Kinney. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid website says, "When the going gets tough, what's a wimpy kid to do?" In Fight or Flight, Greg Heffley faces his biggest challenge yet as he becomes a target for the school bully. Luckily for Greg, his best friend Rowley Jefferson takes karate, so at least Greg's got someone in his corner. But an unexpected twist makes Greg realize he's facing an uphill battle. Will Greg step into the ring or throw in the towel? One thing's for sure, Fight or Flight is a knockout. So, I still read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I still like to check out each new addition to the series, so yeah, I'll be picking this up and reading it sometime after it comes out. I don't really get these on release day, like it's not pre-order worthy for me, but they're pretty easy to come across. Like I'll see them in my local Walmart on a regular grocery shopping trip, so then I'll get it probably the first time I see it in the store, so yeah, I'll read that. Anyway, those are some upcoming book releases I'm excited for. Let me know if there are any upcoming book releases that you are excited for, and thank you for watching.